Izzy, and in this video, you guys, we're going to be breaking down our NFL game picks heading into Week 10 of the NFL season here. Obviously, Thursday Night Football's already been wrapped up. Getting the video out a little bit late this week, you guys. What a freaking upset by the Dolphins on Thursday night. I can't believe the Ravens botched that game. I think the final score ended up being 22-10. Just a shocking performance, to be honest with you guys. I did have the Ravens picked in that one, so we're starting off the week 0-1 already. Definitely thought they would have been able to handle that one pretty easily against the Dolphins, and man, was I wrong. It's been a lot of weird outcomes to games in the last couple of weeks of the season so far, you guys. So far this year, we're 80-51 overall record, so not too bad. 29 games above 500 here. Ended up going 9-5 last week. Nice bounce back. Comparatively to a couple weeks ago where we had our first losing week of the season. So nice to get back into the win column here with a 9-5 record last week, 80-51 overall. Right real quick before we start breaking down the game picks heading into Week 10 here, you guys, if you go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Been getting a ton of support lately, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. We're going to keep coming out with as much content as possible for you guys. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start breaking down these game picks. Like I said, obviously the Thursday nighter already happened, you guys. Starting off the week 0-1, I picked the Ravens in that game. Obviously, they lost. We'll start off with the Sunday early matchups next here. We got the Buccaneers versus Washington football team. I mean, this should be an easy one for the Buccaneers, in my opinion, especially coming off a bye week. They're going to be hungry to get a win. Obviously, they lost their last game before they went into the bye week there. So I expect them to have a bounce back here, obviously getting 2 weeks to prepare for a Washington team that has not been very good this season. The defense has not been playing at as high of a level as they were last year. So I expect Tom Brady and that offense to be able to dice them up pretty good. I don't think it'll be that close of a game. I do think Taylor Heinicke and that offense will be able to put up a few touchdowns against that beat-up secondary. But I do think the Bucs will be able to take this one. So I got the Bucs taking it 30-21, you guys. Then we got the Lions versus the Steelers. Now, I do think this one's going to be a closer game than people expect. I don't think it's going to be a blowout for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just don't think they got a high-firing offense that's going to be able to get that much of a separation in the score. I think the Lions are going to be competing hard here, trying to at least keep it close, maybe try and get their first victory of the season. I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points against that stout Steelers defense. And I do think Big Ben and the way that offense has gotten rolling just a little bit here lately, I think they're going to be able to outscore the Lions just barely in this one. I think it's going to be a tight, close game, but I'm going to take the Steelers, you guys, 24-21 over the Lions. Then we got the Saints versus the Titans. Now, I think this could be a big upset game for the New Orleans Saints. I think they could possibly take this one against the Titans. I want to pick the Saints to win, especially my good buddy is a Saints fan. I'd love the Saints to win for his sake. But at the end of the day, I got to trust my gut here. I think the Titans are on a pretty good roll right now, even though Derrick Henry hasn't been playing. They are on their home field as well. The Saints are going to be using Simeon most likely as their starting quarterback. Not too sure how he's going to fare against that Titans defense. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair because we got the Saints defense is quite stout as well. But I do think the Titans are going to be able to hang on for the victory in this one, 21-17, the final score in that one. We got the Falcons versus the Cowboys. Now, this is another tough pick'em game, you guys. I know the Cowboys have had a good season, minus that absolute blunder last week against the Denver Broncos, getting their asses handed to them. The Falcons have stepped up and been pretty solid since their slow start to the season. They're starting to come around with their new head coach there. Matt Ryan still looked pretty good. Kyle Pitts is starting to come into form nicely. Cordero Patterson's looking rejuvenated with his new squad here so far this season. So I think it will be a close game here. I want to take the Falcons in the upset. I'd love the Falcons to win, but once again, it's one of those I got to trust my gut. And I think the Cowboys are going to be able to bounce back from a tough loss last week. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Cowboys in a close one by a final score of 28-24, you guys. And we got the Browns versus the Patriots. Now, this should be a wicked game to watch here. Obviously the Patriots got one of the better defenses in the league. The Browns defense has stepped up majorly in the last couple of weeks, holding teams to under 20 points per game right now. Obviously last week putting up 41 points against the Bengals there. They're looking like a rejuvenated offense with OBJ gone to the Los Angeles Rams now. Baker just looks a little more comfortable, and all the other guys. It's like the pressure's off of that offense now to try and force feed the ball to OBJ. They can just run the offense and run the system they like to run, which is obviously a run-heavy system within that Kevin Stefanski offense there. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Like I said, two stout defenses going head-to-head here. You got a rookie quarterback, and then you got Baker Mayfield, who's going against Bill Belichick in that defense. Bill Belichick's probably going to dial up some good defensive calls against them there. So I do think the Browns are going to be able to take this victory. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, so I'm going to take the Browns. Final score 17-14 over the Patriots. Then we got the Bills versus the Jets, you guys. I mean, I can't believe the Bills lost last week to the fucking Jaguars 9-6. What a weird game that was. Couldn't even put a touchdown up on them. Josh Allen, I think, is going to have a big-time bounce-back game. There's no damn way I see the Bills losing this one, too. They've had a couple weird losses so far this year. There's no way they're going to lose to the Jets, in my opinion. I know Mike White's coming back into the fold here, so I do think it's going to be a closer game than people expect. I think Mike White's going to be able to put up some points for that Jets offense. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be too much to overcome the Bills. I just like the Bills' defense too much, and I like the offense of the Bills against this Jets defense. So I'm going to take the Bills in a little bit of a more high-scoring game, 30-24 over the Jets, you guys. And then the final game from the Sunday early games, we got the Jags versus the Colts here in a divisional matchup. I think the Colts will be able to keep rolling here, be able to get the victory versus the Jaguars. I don't see them winning 2 games in a row. Obviously, they got a nice win against the Bills last week. Somehow, some way, they were able to hang on for a 9-6 victory. I just think it's going to be too much to overcome with that Colts defense. And the offense of the Colts is starting to get rolling a little bit as well, as long as Carson Wentz doesn't make any stupid turnovers. The Colts should be able to win this one pretty handily. So I got the Colts taking it 27-17 over the Jags, you guys. Then we'll head over to the Sunday afternoon matchups here. First game of the Sunday afternoon matchups, we got the Vikings versus the Chargers. I expect this one to be a pretty good game. The Vikings are a lot better than their record would show, I would say, so far this season. They've lost a lot of close games off of, game-winning field goal kicks or missed field goal kicks or losing in overtime. There's just been a lot of games that they could have been on the other side of that and been in the win column. They could be a above 500 team right now if they would have won some of those tight-knit games. I just think they're going to be hungry for a win. They know that their season's pretty well on the line if they lose this week. That's pretty much a wrap for the Vikings. Chargers are kind of up and down so far this season. They'll have some good performances, and then they'll follow it up with some just atrocious performances. So I do think this one's going to be a close matchup, but I think the Vikings are going to be able to steal one away late in the game by a final score of 30-27 for the Vikings over the Chargers, you guys. And we got the Panthers versus the Cardinals here. Cam Newton just signed back with the Panthers this week, you guys. I don't think he's going to be available to start this game. I think they're going to be rocking P.J. Walker as the starting QB for the Panthers. Kyler Murray's still questionable to play in this game, so is D-Hop. Obviously, they had no issues without those guys last week, just absolutely dominating the San Francisco 49ers squad. Panthers obviously got absolutely annihilated last week by the Patriots there. Sam Darnold's now on the IR with a shoulder fracture. He's been just terrible since the first 3 weeks of that season, so no surprise they went and got Cam Newton there. I don't think they're going to have enough juice in the tank to be able to win against this good Cardinals team this week. Just, Cam Newton's not going to be starting the game, and he might get a few snaps. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and get him in there a few times just to get his feet under him a little bit. But he's going to be starting most likely next week against the Washington football team, so I think this one's going to be kind of a write-off for the Panthers. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Cardinals on their home field by a final score of 28-17. Then we got the Seahawks versus the Packers, you guys. Russell Wilson and A-Rod both back in the fold most likely here. I know Aaron Rodgers hasn't been cleared to play yet, but I'm expecting him to be able to play tomorrow. He's supposed to be getting cleared today. So I would expect him to be ready to roll for tomorrow's game. I don't think it's going to hinder him whatsoever. Obviously, he can watch film and study from his home. He doesn't need to be in the facility, the Green Bay Packers facility. He doesn't need to be practicing as much. He's a veteran quarterback, who knows how to play the game at a high level. So I expect him not to miss a beat getting back in there. Same for Russell Wilson, obviously, with that finger injury. I still think he's going to be able to make some good plays for the Seattle Seahawks there. It's going to be a tight, close-knit game here, I think. Seahawks are scrapping for their playoff lives. If they lose this game, that'll pretty much be a wrap on their season. So this is going to be a big-time matchup. Obviously, the Packers want to get back on track after a tough loss last week to the Kansas City Chiefs in Jordan Love's first start as a pro. I do think it's going to be a close game. Like I said, I think the Packers defense has been good enough this season. I think they're going to be able to just hold on just enough for us to be able to come out with the victory and a final score 27-24 for the Green Bay Packers. And we got the Eagles versus the Broncos. You guys, I think this one will be a pretty nice game as well. Two teams that are kind of, obviously the Eagles are still scrapping to try and get into a wild card spot. The Broncos are now 5-4 on their season with an upset victory over Dallas last week. I don't think anyone's seen that one coming. But, if that team continues to rally around each other after losing Von Miller, I could see them being able to beat a kind of an Eagles team that's been up and down and hasn't been very consistent at all this season, especially going over to Mile High Stadium there. I think it's going to be a tough one for the Eagles to come out with the victory. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Broncos in this one, you guys, by a final score of 28-21. Then we got the Sunday night matchup, Chiefs versus the Raiders here. I mean, this should be a really good game, you guys. The Chiefs have not been what we thought they could be to start the season so far, through about halfway through the season already. They're definitely not at the caliber of play that we thought they would be at. I mean, everyone was saying they were going to be an undefeated team at the start of the year. Now I believe they're at a 5-4 record. I think the Raiders are also at a 5-4 record now, so both of these teams are going to be desperate for a win. They're going to want to, especially in a divisional matchup like this, they're going to want to take home the victory, keep ahead in their division if they can. But personally, I think the Raiders are going to be able to bounce back from that tough loss last week. Obviously, they're getting Deshaun Jackson now into the fold for a deep threat after losing Henry Ruggs, obviously, in that unfortunate event that happened a couple weeks ago, you guys. So I think the Raiders get a bounce back here on their home field. I think it's going to be a close, tight-knit game. I think the Chiefs' offense is going to be able to get rolling a little bit here and put up some points, but I don't think it's going to be enough to overcome that Raiders team. So I'm going to go Raiders 30-27 for Sunday Night Football, you guys. And then that leaves us with the Monday night matchup, another divisional game between the Rams and the 49ers. Now, this should be a good game here, you guys. I'm assuming Von Miller is going to be playing in this one. I would be shocked if OBJ plays, but they might try and get him in on a few plays since it is a Monday night game. That gives them that extra day of preparation before the game. They might try and get him in there a couple times, get his feet wet, catch a couple passes from Stafford. We'll have to see what happens. Not sure how big of an impact that's going to be, as they already have a really good wide receiver room. We'll see how they're going to be able to make some room for Odell in there to get his targets as well. But the way the 49ers are playing this year, man, I don't see them having a chance in this game. I mean, they've been in shambles this year. I thought the 49ers were going to be a Super Bowl contender this year, you guys. It looks like Kyle Shanahan just doesn't have that team rallying around him right now. The defense has not looked nearly as good as years past. They're dealing with injury woes again. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't looked as good. Trey Lance isn't quite ready to be a starter yet and make a big impact in the game. So for those reasons alone, I think the Rams are going to be able to win this one pretty handily. So I'm going to take the LA Rams 33-20 over the San Francisco 49ers, you guys. And that goes ahead and wraps up NFL game picks for Week 10, you guys. Hopefully we can keep on the winning ways here. Like I said, we're an 80-51 overall record, so pretty nice so far this season. Hopefully we can keep that rolling. I would love to get your guys' opinion in the comment section down below, man. Who do you guys got in the game picks for NFL Week 10? And yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. Thanks again for watching, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports.